Hello friend, this is your 20-liter vacuum emulsifying mixer. Now I will introduce this machine and test this machine to you. First, when you receive this machine, you need to connect to your battery power. Here, open the control cabinet. And you may track the components of the machine. Here we have the Siemens and Schneider components. You may check all the wires. We have marked the numbers on it. And this is the Siemens and the Schneider components here. And you should connect the wires here, L1, L2, L3 wire, the neutral wire. And the ground wire here, you should also connect it. And these wires, we have marked the numbers on it, so you can connect it according to the same number. And then let's check the back side. Here we have the air inlet. You should connect to your compressed air to make sure that you can use the pneumatic bottom valve. And also here we have the wires. We have marked the numbers on it. You should connect it according to the same number. Here the 8 connect to 8, 6 connect to 6. And then also here is the same. And then for this one is the water outlet, and this one is the water inlet. You should connect the soft pipe here and make sure that this water inlet valve is open all the time, because you need to cool down the homogenizer when it's working, and also the vacuum pump, the homogenizer should use the water, so you should make sure that this water inlet valve is open all the time. Also for this one is the water tank heating, and this one is oil tank heating, and this one is the water tank probe, and this is the oil tank probe. And let's check the back side of the main tank, and this is the ABB the homogenizing motor, and this one is the one electric heating rod, and here this is the water inlet, and this one is the water outlet. And let's check the main tank. Our accessories here is the wheel window. You can spin this scraper to remove the mist to check the clearly inside the main tank when it's producing materials. And this one is the material inlet. You can see we have equipped the soft pipe here. You can use this soft pipe to suck the materials from these two tanks. And then this one is the pressure gauge. You may check the digital number display of the vacuum pressure. And this one is the vacuum pressure valve. You can use this vacuum valve to use the vacuum function. And this one is the breathing pot. You can use this breathing pot valve to release the vacuum. And this one is the negative pressure discharge valve. If the materials here is very like high viscosity, you can use this negative pressure discharge valve to let the materials discharge smoothly. Okay, and let's check. Here is the ingredient hopper. You can use this ingredient hopper, turn on this valve and add some ingredients when it's producing. And this one is the lighting. Open the lights, you can see clearly inside the main tank. Okay, and let's check the bottom valve discharge. This is the pneumatic bottom valve, so you need to connect air and then control it by the PLC screen to discharge the materials. And this one is the control panel. You can see this one is the indicator lights to show you the alarm, and this one is the main power. When you have connected the electricity, the air source and the water inlet outlet soft pipe, you can turn on the main power to use the machine. And this is the PLC Siemens screen. You may check, and this one is the emergency stop button. You can stop the machine when the machine is occurs something wrong. And this is the keys to open the control box. Here we have the keyhole, and let's check the lighting. This one is for this lighting part. Now it's turned on. Spin it. Now it's turned off, and we can turn on it. Now it's turned on. And let's check this water tank and oil tank. Here we also have the ABB motto, and then half open leak cover design and the top mounted dispersing. This one is the water tank, and this one is the oil tank. And this is the control box of the water tank, oil tank. You can check the components. It's Schneider and the components. And here is the wires. You should connect the L1, L2, L3 wire, the neutral wire, and the yellow and green ground wire. You should also connect it. And for these two water tanks and oil tanks, our engineer has already added the heating transfer oil inside, so you don't need to put the water inside. You just need to directly use the heating function. Okay, let's check the PLC control panel. Here you can choose the language, English and Chinese. Choose English, and then you can see this is the missing function and homogenizing function. Here you can set the speed like the maximum 65, and then set the time like 1 minute, for example. And for the turbo homogenizer, you can set like 3000, for example, and then 2 minutes. And then for the actual speed, actual current, and remaining time, you can check when this function is working, and when the time setting is arrived to what you set, this missing and turbo homogenizing function will stop automatically. And this is the manual control, the turn on and turn off of the two functions. And this is the actual temperature and heating temperature. You can choose the temperature like the 60, for example. And this temperature calibration, you can adjust the temperature when it's not matched. And you should make sure that the heating temperature you set should be larger than the actual temperature. And for this part is the vacuum function. You can set the pressure up limit like minus 85 minus, and then the pressure lower limit like 60 minus 60 kPa to set. And then for this one is the damping and reset function for these main tanks to tilting. Okay, and then this one is the hydraulic up and hydraulic down, and the bottom valve start and stop function. Let's check the oil pots and water pots. Here we have the time setting, set 1 minute, for example, 3 minutes, for example, and then the remaining time to shows. And this dispersing function, turn on and turn off. And the heating function, you can also set like here, 75 and 65, for example. And then the temperature calibration to adjust temperature. And this is the heating function, turn on and turn off. And the bottom valve of these two tanks, turn on and turn off. And this diagram can show you the actual temperature of these two tanks. And the temperature chart, you may check the temperature through this diagram. You have see different colors. We have marked like the green one is the main tank, the orange one is the oil pots, and the last one is the water pot. And you can use this to turn on and turn to see the diagrams. And let's check the alarm inquiries. This one, alarm inquiry, have show you the dates, time, status, and alarm test of where the machine is going wrong. So you should make sure that the problem is solving and then press this reset button. Then you can continue using the main tank to producing materials. And let's go back to the home page. And for this 20 liters vacuum emulsifying mixer, if you want to use the heating function, first step you should turn on this valve to let the water go inside to the jacket. And then when the water comes out from here, it means that this jacket is full of water. And then you can turn off this water inlet valve, let the water maintaining in the jacket, and then you can use the heating function. Okay, now we can test the vacuum function first. Here we have already set the pressure up limits and pressure lower limits, and then you should make sure that all the other valves are turned off. This one turn off, and then this one turn off and turn off. And then you can turn on this vacuum pressure valve, and then turn on the vacuum pressure function on it. Now you can see the number is changing. You can check on this vacuum pressure gauge and for this on the screen. Okay, now it's maintenance 85. If you want to maintain the vacuum pressure here, you can turn off the vacuum gauge, vacuum valve, and then turn off it. Okay, now the vacuum pressure is maintaining in the minus 83.5. Can maintain the vacuum pressure. And then if you don't turn off this valve and don't turn off the vacuum function, the vacuum valve will start going down, and then when it's going down, like the pressure lower limit is minus 60 kPa, it will restart the vacuum function, and then it will go to the minus 85 kPa. And then let's use the material inlet to suck the materials from the tanks. Put it on the water tank, and then turn on the valve. And then you may check now the water goes into the main tank. And then let's test the oil tank suck materials. And you can see the water now is going into the main tank. Okay. And when you don't need it, you can turn off the material inlet valve. Okay, and we can test the vacuum function again. Like we set the minus 80. Minus 60, for example. And then make sure the other valves are turned off. Turn off. Turn off all the other valves. Turn on the pressure gauge again. Turn on the vacuum function. You can see now it's minus 80. You can see when the actual pressure is lower to the pressure low limits, like minus 60 kPa, it will restart the vacuum function. you may see when the pressure is lower than the -60, it will restart the vacuum function. Okay, now we can turn off the vacuum function manually. First, you should turn off the vacuum function on the screen. Stop. And then turn off the vacuum pressure gauge. And then let's test the release vacuum function. Turn on these breathing ports, make sure all the other valves are turned off, and then open it. And you can see the pressure now is back to the normal stage. And then you can turn off the breathing port. And then let's test the missing function. We have already set the speed 65 and the time 1 minute. Turn on it, confirm that it's safe around the main tank. And then turn on it. And you can see the diagram is also moving. Let's check inside. You can move this to check the clarity inside the tank. And now the actual speed is 65. The actual current you can check here. And when the time is arrived to what you set, the missing function will stop automatically, and now we can stop it manually. Diagram is also stopping. And here you may check the missing function is stopped. And let's test the heating function. We have already set the heating temperature, and now it's the actual temperature shows that it's 28.3 degrees Celsius, so we can set the heating temperature like 60 degrees Celsius. Now our engineer has already add the water into the jacket, so we can directly turn on the heating function like here. Now the heating function is working. It will take some time to let the temperature goes up, so let's manually turn off it. You can hear a sound from here. Let's test it again. Hear a sound. Now that means the heating function is working. Turn off it manually. Okay. Okay, now we can test the hydraulic function. Press this button. Make sure that shower around is safe. Press yes. You will hear the alarm, the sound that it means the power is hydraulic up. Okay, now the power is hydraulic up to the top, and you may check the bi-directional mixing with Teflon scrubber. Okay, let's check the homogenizing function. This is the homogenizer of the 20-liter vacuum emulsifying mixer. Let me check. And then let's test it. We have already set the speed into 3000 RPM, the time 2 minutes, so let's just test it, make sure it's safe. it, now display it. Also the diagram is displayed nicer. Now it's 3000. Yeah, we have the synchronizing function. So now we can manually stop it. Okay, now we can test the damping function of this machine. And press the damping function. You should keep pressing, otherwise it will not damping. And press the reset function. The tank will reset to the original place. Okay, now let's test the hydraulic down function. Press the start. Make sure that it's safe here. And then you should keep pressing the yes, so the tank will hydraulic down. If you do not press, it will stop. You should keep pressing, it will hydraulic down. Okay, now the tank cover is completely hydraulic down, and then you can press no, go back to the page. Okay, now we can test the oil tank and water tank function. Now we have set the time, and now we can just open the dispersing function. It will stop when the time is arrived to what we set. Now we will manually stop it. Okay, now we test the water tank function. Okay, now we can manually stop it. And for the heating function for the oil tank and water tank, because our engineer has already added the heating transfer oil inside for these two tanks, so we can already directly use the heating function. Sorry, turn on it. You can hear a sound of these two tanks now, because it will take some time to let the temperature rise, so we can manually stop it now. Okay, for the discharge function, because now the main tank and these two tanks have water inside, so we will not test it. This is the end of the 20-liter vacuum emulsifying mixer introduction and testing. Thank you.